Good evening, free enterprise community. Although I'm told that allegedly there are other time zones other than Eastern Standard. I've never seen it, so I don't believe that it's true. But on the off chance that it is, perhaps good morning, good afternoon. I am John Burkhead. I am here to go ahead and do comms with the maestro of Free Enterprise, responsible for so many of our harp songs, Xenocat, as we go into game 2 of round 8 in the Blue Moon Waning round. Xeno, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Excited about this Edward start. Uh, can't wait to see our runners probably ditch Edward in the first 10 minutes of the seed.
That is correct, because that is, unless we get maybe a starting spoon, there's really
Yeah,
just,
the spoon definitely won't be as buried as it was in their game one. Uh, and that is as much as I will say about game one because the 24-hour period is not up yet and we should not spoil game one.
yes, we do have the win-loss record available on the giant screen in bright colors. However, the specifics of it, you should go check out the VOD. Both of these runners are fantastic. We are in the waning bracket, but they have shown their acumen, their ability, and they are certainly at this point. We're in round 8 of this particular portion of the tournament. Clearly, they understand this flag set very, very, very well.
Yes, both of these runners, honestly, they're very evenly matched. The game one, I will say, came down to just one little thing that ended up making pretty much the entire difference in that race.
And that's what
Uh,
happens, right? When you have these runners and racers that are so evenly matched, whether it's an RNG, whether it's an honest mistake, whether it's a fade, that's all it takes. And it
yeah,
can from here on out, you're not going to see a lot of mismenus or a lot of mistakes. You're going to see high quality gameplay, and certainly we can expect nothing less from these two runners tonight.
absolutely. Uh,
So, what do you think about these bosses?
yeah, these bosses are very tame, I would say. Even for randomly selected Blue Moon bosses, like barring Gauntlet and Golbez, which we knew were going to show up, the only one I may be scared of is Odin.
Odin can
Uh,
punch, and
Odin
you
can
put
punch. Leviathan, I guess, could have high magic maybe somewhere. Everything else, whatever.
yeah. But we're gonna have to go ahead and worry about that later because we're about to. So we have. Oh, there's a character. There's a pal. We have
Yeah,
a
it's a
character.
Palom. And
Oh,
cool.
oh, oh.
It's time to go to the moon.
Okay, I'm just gonna pull up my step minute chart now, so I can so I can figure out if they how many more battles until we get a. What I can't help but notice has been a was referred to as a stinky. Perhaps a D machine grind in our future. We will have to go ahead and find out.
I know Gambit's a big fan of the D Machine grind, so if Tella shows up, that would be good for them, but we will see.
Neither runner going to Miss City at first. We've got Gambit going down to Watery Pass. We've got Dipwood going to Dancing Castle. Both will lead. Dipwood doing the back of checking Waterfall right away, and that's just a
Uh,
DKC.
yeah, Cecil is going to be in the waterfall. That's fine. He can stay there. He can have his shower. And hello, Rosa. Welcome to the party. We would like to have you in our party very much. Give us the white mage that used to be the superior white mage until we realized that Porum words berserk faster.
Right.
Cecil, you were just in the shower. What are you doing here?
I don't know. Maybe this whole time it has been Kane that's been doing betrayal. Maybe Cecil killed Anna. Maybe that's a new version of the story. I don't know.
Maybe. But Gambit does find an Artemis bow in the waterfall, in the watery pass, in that secret room. So that'll be a really nice pickup for them.
Yep, good agility manipulation, good offense, especially since we know we have Rosa in the seed. Dipwood going down to the treasury underneath Damsian, finds a Boreas. It's nice to have those J items early, as well as an Earth Hammer should we find a Sid.
Yeah, those are some of those items will be useful. The Boreas definitely is a really nice pickup early as Gambit is heading into the back of Watery Pass. So far, nothing really back here of note. I guess that bandana's nice, but it's not as big of a deal.
Right, he did find a Zeus Rage, or excuse me, they did find a Zeus Rage in the front of Watery Pass, which I assume Dipwood will find as well. So those J items, when used early, are exceptionally helpful. It's very common in this flag set, especially with the Cecil, to go ahead and rush ordeals. So a few J items can really help, especially with this party. I know we have the Artie bow, but there's not a ton of DPS just yet for this party.
Yeah, I mean, Artie Mute is nice, but because I did see Mute arrows as well in the Watery Pass there.
And then you put the bandana on there too, and that definitely helps.
It's something. She just needs a power shirt or a heroine robe, and then Rosa is good to go.
Very, very online. Dipwood finding also Stardust. So 3 early J items that both of our runners will more than likely have certainly will go ahead and help to rush up ordeals or deal with any bosses like the Calcabrina that we saw, where some AoE will be useful.
Yeah. Looks like Gambit is going to raise the hovercraft as well here and get that Cecil. Dipwood is going to head to Mysidia and raise that big whale. One other interesting find we had in Damsian, a lightsaber in the chest on the way up. We'll see if that disincentivizes our runners from hunting for one of those big holy swords, or if they say, yeah, I've got a lightsaber, but maybe I want something better.
I would be shocked if we were on Red Moon, maybe, because with a T Pro setting on Red Moon, the likelihood of it's not possible, but it's significantly less likely. Those holy swords, as we all know, are huge game changers, and the faster you find the guy with the stick, more likely you are to go ahead and build a significant lead. The lightsaber's nice. Should we end up seeing a D Machine grind, that means that maybe if Cecil ends up getting slung, you have a decent chance that Cecil will make some contact if he's in the front row, or if he's back row ahead of time. But I cannot imagine that lightsaber would serve as a terribly tempting detraction from doing Eblin Castle.
Yeah, no, we do see a lot of Eblin castles do have holy swords, but sometimes they don't. And oh hey, it's Porum and Rose and Rydia.
Look at all these slingable mages. We just need somebody on to be sitting up on top of ordeals.
Goodbye, Edward. It's Cecil, DKC, and all of the mages.
One thing to look out for. So let's say we don't find Tella, but we do find that's a pretty good shot. Vampires are really nice when you're offense depleted. Ether ones, Star Veils. That's a really nice shot right there. As Dipwood's going to go ahead and purchase a few things. Should we find sirens at the Cave Eblin shop, as you can get there's 2 tier 5 items there. If they have the money with all of these mages, I would not be shocked to see 30 sirens purchased to get these kids up to nuke right away, and then you just blow up the seed.
Yeah, the kids really do want a big grind early on to get going, especially since at this point, I mean, we haven't checked any other key item locations, but we are still sitting at 1 key item. The 10 key item bonus is still a long ways away.
It is. I mean, we'd have to find some delightful... I mean, you and I could talk music theory all day, but we want people to stick around. So if we end up watching 30 eggs getting cracked, we're going to have to... I'm going to use this time now, while we see what our next character is, nice rune X, to go ahead and figure out what we can possibly talk about, should that be the case, because that probably would be the play. It would be a time sink.
And oop, there's not a Tella. No D machines today. It's Kane.
Yeah, so
well, I say no D machines, but we could forge an Abel's Lance.
We could forge an Abel's Lance. Did Dipwood take that Kane away?
Dipwood said no to Kane.
Interesting.
To be fair, I mean, I could see ditching Rydia in this circumstance for Kane, but I don't think there's a real reason to ditch anyone else in this party. Porum provides access to the Twin Magic command, which is just really nice early on for those two, and obviously we have this lightsaber for Cecil, so even if we didn't find a holy sword, he'd be useful, and Rosa is Rosa.
True, and with Rosa in the center slot, I wonder if they're going to put that Artie bow on her to go ahead and get nice and fast. For these early spots, generally speaking, with very few exceptions, you want your anchor to be nice and quick. There go... Oh, those might be on the wrong hands, though. So...
that is the wrong hands.
Agility-wise, it'll be fine.
Agility-wise, it's fine. In terms of back row ability, it's fine, but it will result in a little bit of a damage reduction for dipwood, unfortunately.
Well, but earlier we were talking about how intelligent these runners are. As Gambit's going to go ahead and take a look at the vanilla Mylon friend spot, and we have a rather annoying,
Ew.
kind of gross mom bomb.
This isn't kind of gross. This is just gross.
Yeah, this is not great.
This spot doesn't have a lot of physical attacks, so we'll be safe from that. But the magic attack here is a little bit disgusting.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that our party survives. We could have Kane in the air, but Dipwood, on the other hand, doing a little bit of a grind here. Gonna make that twin magic a little bit stronger. That should get the hit points up enough. And then we have all those J atoms that we've referenced earlier. It'll be great for the second part of this, because there's no way you're going to kill this mom bomb before it explodes.
Oh, definitely not. We are looking at an explode phase for sure. Cecil might survive the explode, and Kane might also be able to tank it, but I don't like the idea of Cecil doing the tanking. And oh dear, I guess Gambit says that Forum is going to be an anchor. I'm not sure I agree.
I mean, that's a Cecil that started with a black sword. Who survives here?
Cecil and Rosa.
So this is the lowest physical attack part of the game. So
they're good. They're through.
They are through. Very nicely done by Gambit. I have to imagine they'll be saving. I know I would be saving.
Probably, yes. I would save here.
And if they are committed to having Porum as their anchor, I mean, Porum by herself is a great anchor. But that twin magic is such a powerful resource to go ahead and get through.
Especially since we also do have Iridia in Mysidia. I think that not denying yourself twin just to have Porum anchor, I am not the biggest fan.
So, Dipwood,
I think that was a no save into back attack Val.
Well,
thank goodness we have Kane.
Well, thank goodness Gambit has Kane.
That's true. Dipwood ditched that Kane. Oh my goodness.
Right now, Rosa has aim, and Rosa has that already bow and has some arrows. But as we talked about earlier, Dipwood unfortunately did put the hands on backwards. So I don't know what's gonna happen here exactly. This is going to be very interesting to see what tactic he takes. This is one of the worst spots to find Val, just because of how rooted it is. We're seeing Gambit doing 332, about 3k here, damage-wise, in the spin. It's doable, but it's a time sink, and when you're in a race, when you're in round 8 of a waiting bracket, this just doesn't feel good.
Yeah. And this Val is also really fast because Gambit is using that Forum as a slow anchor. All these overworld bosses are getting to go very quickly, and it's not really helping them out.
Yeah, so we're seeing 296 on Dipwood's side. That's dangerous, that weak right there.
Yeah, I don't know that Gambit... this jump too. I think someone's going down here.
Yep.
That unfortunately, Kane going down, I think, is what needed to happen right there, and Gambit does get the cure pot off. Gambit, you're going to need to start reviving people desperately.
If I'm Gambit, I maybe take a reset, and I'm going to try to possibly... Ooh, there's a nice crit right there.
Yeah.
That helps. I maybe try to time a jump with Kane with some twin magic. But this is dangerous.
Yeah,
I don't know if he has any heal pots. This is making me very, very nervous.
Yeah, I really need to toss I want to toss a life pot here. I want to see life pots going up.
Yeah. Oh, we got a miss. Possibly that this kills?
No, not yet. And I think Rose is about to be turned to stone.
I think so as well. Ironically, with a Porum anchor.
Yep.
So we'll see what Gambit decides to do.
Forum anchor, not great for ordeals. And that's both runners leaving non-ordeals alone. As Dipwood finds that the hook is at bedward, so hook was just sitting there for free.
Indeed it was. So Dipwood also going to go ahead and take a look at the free treasury. Just the sheer density of chests down here pretty often leads to something a little bit fruitful, so we'll see what we get.
Yep. Gambit, it looks like, was thinking about leaving Ordeals, but has decided, you know what, no, I'm just going to do a little bit of grinding, get a little bit of extra levels going on, and then I'm going to go right back in.
For Gambit, I think this is 1,000,000% the right decision.
Absolutely. Gambit,
with
they
Kayn,
have the resources to get through this Valvalis right now.
right. Some bad RNG there. Getting that as a back attack is just a little bit rude. Gambit does have that flame spear that came with Kayn. Using that as an item, it's very likely they can go ahead and one-shot them there.
Indeed. I still would love to see Rosa take a turn in the middle as opposed to sitting on the sidelines right now.
I agree.
But
it's just the way that it goes. Meanwhile, Dipwood is dipping into Fool, so we'll get another look at a boss and a potential key item as he gains some levels, and is trying to get his resources together to go ahead and go back up Ordeals eventually.
And we'll see Gambit is going back into the Silith fight. A little bit better setup. Still with that forum anchor, but I think that's just going to be how they're going to play this.
Yep. Really no chance for R. This is a little spooky here. If you had somebody at RA1, Rosa doesn't know Berserk, but Porum did start with a power staff. You can do some power bonking. But between the J items, Plague, and that Artie Bow, I think we should be able to go ahead and get through before we have to start going ahead and playing. Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, we are fine here. Dipwood is through for full defense. Gambit does get through that fight, does get levels on Porum, so Porum's not going to be doing any anchoring this seed.
Yeah, so that's very good for Gambit. Both of our runners showing off a very subtle piece of tech in that when you put Palom as the higher priority, oh, just a sad ruby, that's so sad. The bandana, that's the real reward, I suppose, and the XP. When you put Palom in a higher priority slot, his wisdom will be used. They're also they know enough to go ahead and use the Elven Bow for a little wisdom boost. So seeing that flare at 1366 and combine that with the bluff in the slot, it's just really good tech.
Yeah, and it looks like Gambit's not happy with the levels quite yet. Still going to do some grinding. Cecil goes down, but that's okay. Cecil's levels reset anyway after we complete Ordeals.
That is correct. So we'll see what Twin Spell comes off here. Assuming everyone stays alive, that should be more than enough to go ahead and kill this fight. Dipwood is going to give us a look into Mount Hobbs to see if we have a required boss up here or not. And
Sparkle is not required.
Sometimes it's nice to know if Wyvern specifically is off the table. Oh, are we taking this? Maybe we're looking. It's possible that he's looking for some extra levels to go ahead and be a little bit stronger going into a second route up Ordeals.
Yeah, Dipwood wants the extra levels for Ordeals probably. Gambit, meanwhile, is going to go up against Mom Bomb round 2 because there was no save between Mom Bomb and Valvalis.
Yeah, that hurts a little bit. We all certainly feel the push to want to go ahead and go fast. And you applaud the guts, but when it burns, it doesn't feel too great. At least this time, his HP totals are higher, so it's now less spooky. That explode more than likely will not kill our characters. You throw out a J at him, and you're through.
Yeah. Dipwood does find a Leviathan on Mount Hobbs right behind that Pale Limb. So that will be really nice for Rydia.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summon, and not for nothing, that Leviathan can be leaned on. That's a way to get through the Ebwin traps, because there's nothing terribly obvious with this party to really determine how to get through all that.
Yeah.
It won't help with the Mad Ogres, but we have Rune Axe also. So Dipwood has a very viable way through, assuming that Rydia goes ahead and gets some levels. All right, so we explode. There was a twin cast that didn't quite fire, and it looks like that we are out.
Palom is out of MP, unfortunately.
Yeah, so we might be seeing a tent here. This Stardust is going to kill. We have poison arrows to go back on Gambit. And both of our runners are about to go ahead and take a second stab at this Vivalis. Dipwood still without Kane, but has gotten some levels. Rose is a little stronger, and we'll see what
And
happens.
notably, did save after the Mom Bomb, so didn't have to redo that fight at least.
Correct. Some pretty rude RNG where Rose is getting weaked right away. Can't blame Val for a winning strategy, I suppose. 222 in the center slot. But to your point earlier, she is in the center slot. Aim will overflow and not be great. You're like a walking Wikipedia. So by berserking Rosa, she's not gonna aim. Is she gonna make contact here?
She's got enough multipliers to make contact at this spot, but only due to those levels that she's gotten.
Okay. So it might be worth it just for the extra rounds that you're going to get, and it might be a net faster, but that still doesn't mean that this is not a bit of a slog
it is still heavily nerfed compared to the aim commands at this spot.
Yep.
In terms of damage, that only hitting for 114. Gambit's Rosa is quite a significantly lower level, but should be doing quite a bit more damage.
Yep. So, I'd really love to see. So we have Ether One going out. It looks like that Gambit is going to go ahead and try to time the jumps with the twin command. We'll see what happens here. These are tough fights. Palom and Porum are cosplaying in vanilla as members that are in stone. Looks like Hallam is in stone. Porum is soon on his way. And we're seeing some misses here now from Rosa. This is getting a little scary for Dipwood.
This is getting a little rough for Dipwood, and Gambit's already been able to do more than half of the spot's HP just due to the aim command and being able to chew through getting a jump off during the Val was out of tornado form.
Yeah, so that's some 890. That's a crit.
And that is Gambit through the fight first.
So it's hard to tell who's ahead here, because on Dipwood's side we have nice tech using the dark command. Two people are both twins are stoned. There's Zircon Rosa and this Dark Wave doing about 121. I would say that Dipwood's probably still a little bit ahead, but should this Rosa go down and then they have to redo this fight, it definitely gives Gambit some time to go ahead and do some of the checks that Dipwood's already done.
Yeah, Dipwood has the advantage of having Kabul and the Bedward check done, but that's really about it, and those checks will probably be faster with a lightsaber Cecil.
Oh look, it's a Murasame. We're saved.
Yay!
And even if we can't equip it, we can just dart it, right? That's how it works?
Absolutely.
That's how that works?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Uh-oh. Oh, hey. We were wondering about where our required bosses were. Here's one of them.
As if you aren't mad enough.
I mean, on the bright side, this is a bunch of free experience for this base level Cecil.
Yeah, but sometimes you want to preserve the sling on him, right? Like if you wait.
Well, if we had a tele, maybe, but no.
I don't know. Yeah, but some of those Evelyn traps are like 5, 6, 7K.
It's fine. It's not worth missing out on the experience of this whole gauntlet.
That's true. I tend to accentuate the negative. What can I say? Let's see what Cecil's starting with. I didn't see what his weapon is here.
It looked like it was, I think, just a silver staff or something.
Or cure staff. There's that lightsaber we were talking about earlier.
Nothing we care about. So yeah, lightsaber Cecil did there.
Cup's pointing out that this is a slingshot like 2 sirens. So
yeah, this is actually a pretty decent amount of
experience. All right. I was wrong. It happens all the time.
This is like a solid 10K experience. Don't diss this gauntlet.
Okay. Dipwood has 3 stoned characters and a dead Rydia.
Oh no. Oh, this is not looking good for Dipwood.
Is this Dark Wave gonna have Cecil kill himself now that he's been weaked?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, that's how that works, yes.
Oh, that's painful. That's so incredibly rude.
Yeah, and the difference here really being Kane.
So, are we gonna go to Mysidia and get Kane?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Go to Mysidia and get Kane. Kane is good.
Responding to a comment in chat, I'm wrong always. The fact that I think they put me on comms just so, like, on opposite day, people can be like, ha ha ha, ha Burkhead. Well, now that Gambit has gotten all of this amazing experience, oh my gosh, it's so good for Cecil. I was wrong. But you burned through a lot of your J items. If you're Gambit, are you rushing Ebon Castle or are you doing other checks?
That's a really interesting question. I would say with this party, I'd like to get a little bit more. I'd like to maybe get up to Blink or Quake on the kids, especially since we're already through Virus on Palom.
So Virus is huge. That Rune Axe is huge. And we have the hook. I wonder if our runners might want to go
Gambit
ahead.
Does not have the hook yet.
Oh, true. So for Dipwood, he could go down and see if they have hourglasses or buy a bunch of coffins, and now you're through. So I don't know. It's Pancras once said that there generally isn't any real bad routing. There's a lot of valid decisions here, and it looks like we're going right at the Fabul and the cross.
Yeah, I don't hate this play. Fabul is a very good source of experience on the overworlds. Let's get Cecil even more levels. Let's get Palom is 2 levels away from Quake, which will just completely neutralize Evelyn Castle.
Yeah, I mean it's no Baron, there's no Ordeals all Gauntlet in the Legend Sword Altar, but you know it's okay.
I mean you are right. This is not. It's only like 5,500 experience, but that's still like half of the experience that we got from that alt Gauntlet.
Yep. So this was Plague, I believe. We don't have any Anchor. We do have Berserk. And if that's
it will be fine.
Yeah, if that's a Flame Spear, it's going to do some extra damage, and we should be able to go ahead and go through. It's no problem. So Palom is out for Dipwood. So now we have no. That's interesting. So we have no.
Giving up the Quake Kid is interesting. Although I think with Rydia having Leviathan, it does make a lot of sense.
I forgot about the Leviathan summon. Long term, I think that's great. For this fight, I don't know how much Kane really helps.
Well, for Val, Kane is super helpful.
Oh, true, because we're berserking instead of aiming.
Yeah, we like being able to jump and not. Yes, there, Rosa do all the damage.
Yep, and I'm assuming that those hands are on the right spot at this point. So Kane making all the change, all the difference there. Dipwood is through. GG's to Dipwood for making a decision, recognizing what has to happen, and did what has to happen.
Yeah, but as Dipwood gets through back attack Val, Gambit does get through that Fabul defense. So our runners are just about even, minus the differential of the Gauntlet, and Gambit heading over to Bedward to pick up the hook. Right. One of those things is definitely faster than the other.
True. Both runners, you have to imagine, are feeling behind.
Absolutely. Both runners are probably like, what the heck am I doing? Oh my goodness, I struggled so much with back attack Val. Not knowing that they both struggled with back attack Val.
Right. Dipwood will get a free heal here, which means that when he is done with this delightful little gauntlet, that Rydia will be able to go ahead and get through one Leviathan cast. I wonder if that will be enough motivation for him to go ahead and try Ebon Castle right away, try to get a shiny sword. I know from doing an async with him that he recognized the value of checking that Ebon shot for hourglasses or coffins. Yeah. And since he does have the hook, that might be something that he does as well.
Yeah, Gambit, meanwhile, is heading to Antlion Cave to clear out just a quick, easy key item check. No harm in doing this, really, at this point. You're in the area. May as well run down here, beat up a quite easy boss at this point. Maybe it'll put Palom over the edge to Quake.
Maybe. The good old 27-minute antlion check, as has become tradition.
Yeah, it's fine. It's a little bit slow with Dr. Uge, but that's still not terrible.
Yeah, being fast anchored here might be a little more beneficial to avoid all the dialogue, but his party is pretty for this part of the game, this party's in very good shape. So
Yeah, or we could just one shot.
we could. I mean, that is, in my experience, as a music teacher, that can count to 4. 1 is in fact less than most of the other numbers. So, you know, that tends to go faster. Good strat. Good
Absolutely.
strat. Solid strat.
Really great strategy. And there's a Luca key. Hooray!
I love having the Luca key on this flag set. I love that check too. It doesn't take that long to get down there. I know that with Warp Glitch, you know, the key item part of it goes away, but it really doesn't take that long to get down there. It's a nice check, and it's another key item, and we only have access to 4, 3,
4. Well, plus
4 total.
whatever's in Baron Inn.
If anything's in Baron Inn.
Yes, if anything is in Baron Inn. We don't know what's in Baron Inn.
Have we seen this cave? Is this our first time?
I think this is our first missed cave check.
Ooh, spicy.
We don't want to deal with that though. That's just a little slow.
It is a little slow. Yep. And it's not that I'm against growth and change and, you know, becoming the best version of yourself, but not today.
Nah.
Alright, so our runners are more or less gonna kind of converge. Maybe Gambit, checks-wise, might be a little bit ahead because they also did Antline. But Dipwood's got that Leviathan. Dipwood's got that Leviathan. This is,
Leviathan is a bit better than Quake. It's debatable though, because Leviathan is a slower animation than Quake, and a little bit slower cast time, but does do more damage. So in longer, more drawn-out fights than Eblin Castle, that might become relevant.
Yep. Speaking of seeing Dipwood showing that off, yeah, that's just a little bit powerful. Gambit also following in Dipwood's footsteps here, taking the time to go with the public treasury. I'm a little surprised by this. I have to imagine Gambit's literal next step is, well, I guess maybe he's going to do Baron Inn first, but you're more than likely about to raid all of Eblin. Do you really want to go ahead and check, 8 or 9 chests here?
I mean, based on what happened in Game 1, with the loot that happened to show up in the public treasury, and the way that played out, that might be playing into Gambit's decision-making here.
That's a completely fair and valid thing. To answer a delightful question in chat, there is no Mr. Stinky in the seed. That is correct.
Yes, no, we do not have a Tella.
So, what's the origin of that meme anyway? How did that start? I just kind of woke up and all of a sudden everyone was saying
People don't like
it.
D-machines.
Well, that's fair. Wow, stupid Tella. That's aggressive. Ether 2s, buying 10 of them. That's a lot of MP. So no.
Yeah.
Those Ether 2s might substitute for cabins or for tents, because between life casts and curing, those Ether 2s might serve as our camping gear for the seed for Gambit.
Yeah, and Gambit is about to make the last check on the overworld for a key item, which is in Baron Inn here.
Yeah, so this little piggy has a Rubicant, which is not long for this world.
No, Ruby is going to have a bad day.
Correct. He might not have skipped leg day, but he did not make it 2 day. Down he goes, and we'll find out who is in the vanilla karate spot. Ugh.
That's not pleasant.
No, Dipwood will have significantly less issues with this. With the levels that they have at this point, this isn't that bad. But if you rush this spot early, if you find buying at this spot early and you're not really prepared for it, it can be really, really lousy.
Yeah, that punch almost knocked Forbin down in the back row. But Gambit has Quake, so I don't think Vigen's going to last very long.
Yeah, so as you head down the hook routes, we see Dipwood's going to give us a look at Eblin Castle. Didn't save outside of there, so yes, he's going to save outside of there. He must have heard me.
Yeah, yes, do save outside of Eblin Castle, please.
And he's going to anchor, save, and drop down the battle speed. All excellent choices.
Baron Inn is not the value we're looking for.
So much value. So much value. I mean, now we can one-shot eggs.
If we can go pick up Rydia, and then we can let Rydia hit Pale Dim on Mount Hobbs for so much damage.
There it is. I mean, and you said there's no value. Speaking of no value, nothing for Dipwood yet. Finding the Black Cat and Lamia. One of the more underratedly irritating spots, because if you hit the cats but don't kill them, they will bluster you, resulting you in either being paralyzed or, dead. And the Lamias will smack you, and apparently that's a charming thing to do, leading to all kinds of hilarity. Dipwood doesn't want any part of that whatsoever, and here's the power of Leviathan.
Yeah, meanwhile, Gambit is heading into the hook route a little bit, finds the Staleman right away, so might actually decide to just take this chest out really quickly.
Yeah, speaking of awful trap chest, this is the worst trap chest in the game, and I cannot be...
Yeah, and, Dipwood has found a crystal sword.
Well, so we might be done, although he's still healing up, so maybe we're going to go ahead and go through here. Some mage boosting gear, maybe something for Kane would be nice, but Dipwood's in very good shape right now.
Yeah, Dipwood, it looks like, is not satisfied just with that crystal sword. Well, once more.
Correct. Really heads up here. I like Berserking Rosa with the charm arrows, which means that Cecil can go ahead and cover as need be. You see the power of that rune axe. These mad ogres should be mad because they're going to be dead very shortly.
Yeah, Gambit, meanwhile, not getting anything too exciting from that first trap chest, does find a Leviathan summon and coffins for sale in the Evelyn shop, and it looks like is going to invest, at least in some things. Coffins.
Yep, those coffins make this free. So while Dipwood had the gear to go ahead and get through, Gambit now, through a different style, will have the means to go ahead and get through it as well, which means that Gambit, more than likely, will have a crystal sword very shortly.
Yeah, I expect Gambit will not... There won't be too much differential on that crystal sword. Gambit is up Baron Inn and Antlion Cave clear.
Yeah, not sure where Gambit's going right now.
Yeah,
maybe
this
changing Basidia?
We might be considering wanting to pick up Rydia at this point. Which I think is fair. We don't really need Porum.
I would agree. We have exit with Cecil, so it doesn't really matter when we do Zot. And this is we really don't have an anchor on her side, or on their side rather. Excuse me.
And they do know that Leviathan is available in the shop if they decide to bring Rydia online later.
Yeah, this is a solid decision. So Dipwood, oh,
what?
Oh,
is this?
Oh,
what?
Ooh.
I am not sure what's happening.
I'm a little upset right now because I brought a beverage with me, and I've been casually enjoying it. But I feel the need to thoroughly enjoy this moment to have another one. What's Gambit doing?
I don't know what Gambit's doing.
So he bought 10 coffins and then went to the giant. So let's think. If you cast sirens, can you coffin the machines?
No.
Okay.
This might be a Mac Giant sort of thing. Yeah, this might be a Mac Giant sort of thing. Kane is down. I'm not sure we want Kane down.
I am fascinated by this. We have to ask a question when we come out.
Yeah, I think this has to be Mac Giant related.
I know that when you... I think it's in both the save room and the elements room that when you...
Yeah, we have found our Mac Giant. So yeah, Gambit is sitting in this fight. So it looks like this was actually Mac Giant related.
Ooh, this is spicy.
I'm a little bit curious how we were going to get rid of the Searcher at the end, but we'll see.
Well, we have Stop. And
this is true. We do have Stop.
Let's go. This is this can be rude.
Yeah.
Does his Rosa no blink?
I think so. No, you're not going to get through this with damage, though, I don't think, at this point.
I mean, these have, like, what, 11k? hit point wise?
It's a significant amount of hit points. This is on it, too many hit points for me to try to chew through, I think. But I do believe actually I'm not even sure they're susceptible to coffins. I don't think they are.
I don't believe that they are that, but honestly, I've never tried. I started to say earlier that when you use a siren on the save room or the elements room, I believe it's a dual Mac Giant spot. But obviously, you can't keep searching them for any kind of of sling.
Yeah.
So I'm intrigued by this. Because the community, especially with a new flag set like this, right? Because boss hunts and all of this was all very, very, very new, and the community is so generous with their time and with their information that we talk. What's good routing, or when should we do this, or and all of that. And as we have been doing this for a couple months now, we're around 8 here. So 2 months plus the prep time. There's kind of the things that have become what you do. Like, this is what you do when, with X amount of characters. This decision, I'm intrigued, but it is certainly not something that we've seen people do.
I'd like this more, I think, if we had any giant killing gear, which we don't, or even if we had a crystal sword, which we also don't.
This would explain
because it took that much time just to get through one Mac Giant for less experience than we would get from an egg underground.
So here's what I like about the tech. I don't know if I would do this decision normally, but I do like now that we have cover strat Cecil, which means that you only really need to worry about blinking one kill. Oh, no, about to heal everybody up. I guess this is why they bought the Ether 2s, because we got dipwood stopping Mysidia too. Well, one of this is just an anchor change. The best tool that they have to kill the Mag Giants is Palm's Magic.
Yeah. I mean, if that were the case, I would like to see some bluffing in this fight. If you're going to sit in this fight a while, bluff up your magic to maximum.
There you go. That's an excellent point. And
get those viruses doing like 3,000 damage.
Right. Well, here we go for round 2. Zeno, you're basically a walking Wikipedia. How much XP does each Max Giant have?
31,000.
And there's obviously no 10 key items here.
No.
If Rydia is getting
Rydia could be getting slung here, but I think more likely she's going to be our anchor. This is going to be a while.
Huh.
I mean, the life glitches do double that, but it's still not a particularly fast grind.
This is different, and we'll see how it pans out. I mean, can you imagine if we end up having a double required giant, and we end up with the pass, and so we don't do the giant, and Gambit has a couple of bosses that he can handle.
That could get interesting.
It could get very interesting. Meanwhile, Dipwood buying some coffins and some silk web. Does not go with the diet food. Live your best life, Dipwood. Eat the cookies. Already has Leviathan. No need to buy that. And we're gonna take a look at the armor shop. Bandanas are nice. And the weapon shop.
We don't really need anything else here.
No. Yep. So Crystal Sword Cecil, ready to go burr. He's anchored.
I think Dipwood is nothing. There's nothing really in this hook rat that can really stand between Dipwood and the underground at this point.
Nope. You got Berserk. You've got pretty solid levels. You've got Leviathan. It looks like Gambit was not able to get a life glitch on that second Mac Giant.
I think Talon unfortunately took a hit right before. Yeah, this grind is just really rough for Gambit, and I'm honestly not really sure what's motivating this grind right now.
I don't know either. We know that's elements. That Crystal Sword's going to do some work. Yeah, it's definitely something we'll have to ask them for sure. Well, regardless, we have Eddie as an anchor for Dipwood. Should we come across a nasty evil wall at the King Queen spot, we might see some run strats. Also, another possible use for Eddie might be if Odin is at a particularly root spot. Although with Crystal Sword Cecil, I feel like that's probably less likely, but still something to keep an eye on no matter what.
Yeah, I think I expect Dipwood to just use Eddie as an anchor and not bother getting him any sort of levels.
Oh, I agree. I'm fully in the camp of Eddie's role in this game is to just, to nap sweetly, Sweet Prince, and just, let everyone else do all the work.
Yeah.
All right, so any predictions for the King Queen spot?
That would be fun. But that's Kinazo.
Ooh, that's spicy. So only 6,000 HP here. It is going to punch with that first one a little bit. It's actually kind of nice that Rosa's going first because Rosa can cast Berserk real quick. Real nice use of that Artie Bow to recognize that Cecil will not be RA1. Let's see, 6. So was it 4 to 8% of the total?
4 to 6%.
Yeah, this
wave's not going to be that scary.
Yeah. So assuming Cecil starts swinging, we should be fine. Should be through.
Yeah. Kinazo, you really don't want to nerf the waves here because then Kinazo starts really punching, and that's no.
Yeah, it's interesting how nerfing the waves is almost your gut instinct. Because you think about the nightmare situations, you think about Kinazo at elements, you think about even Kinazo, one spot down over at the Ruby spot. But more often than not, where you run into Kinazo, with a few exceptions, you usually have a relevant amount of DPS to where you are, to the point where the waves won't kill. So Berserk, and if you have like a Fu, like Nuke, you can usually go ahead and get his hit points down enough to the point where the waves aren't too much of an issue.
Yeah.
So we have elements here. Some of the spots do have Holy Sword resistance, but that one doesn't.
No.
As we quickly get into
next
Ruby
one
here.
does.
Next one does. Although that Rune Axe, for whatever reason, they do list Ruby at the element spot as a mage. So I think that Dip times the jump with the Rune Axe still equipped. If we see a significant amount of damage, we'll know why. Dipwood remembering to do what I always forget to do, which is to go ahead and make sure your anchor stays down.
Yeah, that's a little important. And that Rune Axe was not timed well enough, apparently. I don't think that was a Rune Axe hit.
I don't think so either. But regardless, we're in pretty good shape. We're already halfway through. The Vow portion of this is weak to basically everything, and that includes Holy Sword damage. So Dipwood is in extremely good shape. The only thing that he might be concerned about is getting Radia XP.
Yeah. Gambit, meanwhile, is continuing to tear through these Mac Giants.
Yep. Seems to be riding the Palom horse. Seems to have found...
Palom is good.
Palom is very good.
I don't think this is a really big grind all the way to the big spells. I think right now we're just trying to get some early starter levels.
I agree. Judging by their use of Quake, I'm going to assume that they're looking for the Searcher to go down soon.
Yeah.
And whether or not that's what they wanted, that's what they got. So at this point, it's just a matter of keeping the party members alive, because that would be brutal if to end the fight and to have someone down.
Yeah. If someone goes down, that would be really unfortunate for them.
Correct.
But
that is
they
not
are
the
through the
case.
fight.
Oof.
That's a good 260,000 experience. Pretty decent head start on our levels for now.
Yep. Meanwhile, with all of the excitement of that grind, seeing that required Octobam at the top of tower has reminded me we've only seen one required boss.
Yeah, that's our second required boss that we've seen now at the top of tower. And Gambit now has Cure 4 on Rosa. Has leveled up decently well. Remembers, oh right, I have, I think that was a Poison Axe drop from the Mac Giants, actually.
That's
nice.
Just in time.
Yeah, now perfect. We have a Poison Axe, so we can Mac Giant now.
Let me tell you what, though. We have three free fights that are required, and if any of them are here at this element spot, that is
if
spicy.
any of them show up here, Gambit is doing really well.
For sure. I missed what dipwood maybe got or did not get in the item shop at Terrarian.
I did not see either, but either way, Dipwood headed to the Feymarch now.
Yep. A little unconventional routing. But usually you'll see folks, especially on Blue Moon, when you have the Warp Glitch available, to go ahead and get 2 key items. I wonder if the fact that we already have Darkness might be swaying him here. Maybe he just wants the freebie. You know, with so many non-required bosses early on in the game, nice black belt pickup. There's a decent chance that we have a required boss here down at the Feymarch.
Yeah. Ooh, that defense sword is nice for Kane.
Yeah, not exactly what he was looking for.
No, but it's nice. There's some Bacchus wines.
Yep. Like me in college, buying plenty of wine. Except mine was in a box back in the day, but it's a conversation for a different stream. But regardless, we have tons of wine for Cecil. Cecil is more than likely RA1 to Eddie at this spot. You know, Crystal Sword Cecil tends to be the equalizer. Maybe you don't really need levels necessarily.
Yeah. Gambit, meanwhile, has found Mylon
Ugh.
friends.
This is an awful fight.
This is not a fun fight. Yes, this is a pretty garbage fight, especially since I don't believe Cecil is back row glitched.
So Pal most certainly has Quake at this point. I don't know that one Quake even takes out these gas right away.
No, it absolutely does not. These gas have something like 9,000 hit points. It's gross.
Yeah, this I mean, this fight is very doable, but it's extremely long, and it's not required. So we'll see if Gambit wants to go ahead and see it through. You know, made a decision and is going with it. We have a
vanilla Leviathan for that objective.
Yeah,
and the other Mylon is down in the Feymarch as well.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that dipped out of that, because you could put a Star Veil up on Cecil and then Zerk, and then kind of work around the I mean, those Ice 2s hit, there's no question, but that might have been possible to go ahead and get through. You might not have gotten the experience on your party.
I wouldn't hate going through Leviathan. I think might want more levels just to have a little bit of a better anchoring situation, since Edward is not really a great anchor.
Yeah, those dwarves.
Oh my goodness, dwarves
are just the worst. There are some nasty NPCs in this game, and those dwarves are being particularly rude. I've gotten to the point where I will actually, you know, sometimes when people are doing Dwarf Castle, they might go ahead and either you know, buy stuff before or afterwards. I will typically buy stuff ahead of time, specifically to avoid the dwarves pulling that, because I feel like every time I come out, they're always blocking the door. That was rude.
Yeah, they do. They like to do that.
Yeah. Some semi-arrows to go along with the arty bow. Sure, why not? And Tiara. That's gonna help that Leviathan cast.
Yeah.
Like seeing that.
Definitely don't hate to see it. I expect Dipwood will probably go right into defending Dwarf Castle at this point.
I agree. Let me ask him with Gambit, right? So Gambit they're in, right? They're going to go ahead and do this, and more than likely they're going to go ahead and do whatever's at the CPU spot as well. Since you're committed to this play, do you go to the moon right away?
I think in Gambit's shoes, they might very well go to the moon. They've got Cure 4 on Rosa. They've got really everything they need to sort of get through the moon. Might not be the fastest, but they can get through the moon and get through pretty much anything up there, and along the way probably get some levels as well. And oh hey, look, there's the guards also in the underground.
Yeah, so we now know the location of 3 required bosses.
Yeah, well, 4 total, including the gauntlet that we defeated.
So Gauntlet 1, Leviathan 2, this is 3. Oh, and Octane at the top of the tower.
The top of tower, yes.
Yeah. So that's more than halfway there. And that's all extremely doable. It's the Octo's a little annoying because of the holy resistance that it has. So zerking up Cecil won't be as effective, but it's certainly not a fight that I think either one of our runners are going to be concerned with when they get there.
It's really not terrible.
Goodness gracious. So we'll see who is in Dwarf 2 as Dipwood completes his second boss, and we find Magus Sisters.
Ooh.
But
That's
free.
fine. Yes, that is a perfectly fine place to find Magus Sisters. And hey, if you manage to get to Dwarf Castle before picking up Rydia, like before learning Leviathan on Rydia, you get it for free here.
Yep, this fight is basically just screaming. Screaming, please use Leviathan. Nice little bit of tech on Dipwood's side. Dip has one mute arrow left, and rather than use it to take out one of these three twins, or one of these three twins, all right, very good. Take out one of these Magus Sisters by Bacchusing. He will be able to go ahead and hold on to his last mute arrow should he run into any other bosses that have a mage weakness.
Yeah, not using up that last arrow is really nice.
Yeah.
To be able to use that later.
Yeah, one of these 4 triplets. That's right, Fluffy. All right.
Yes.
Oh goodness. All right, so we got 2 key item checks here. Like we have darkness, but we don't really have access to. I mean, a Gambit found Luca key. We don't have the Baron bosses.
Yeah, we don't have
Zot
access
2.
to the Baron bosses, Zot 2, the Twin Harp, the package, the Super Cannon room.
Yep. And that's gotta make you nervous. So getting 2 key items here, it's gotta feel pretty good. First
at this
up,
point, any extra key items are great. And hey, there's a Twin Harp.
Your favorite, your absolute favorite.
I think it's time to go chase that.
I'm sure that you do. I would politely. Hey, there's another.
We can chasing the package would also be acceptable.
The Dwarf Castle of awful checks. That's what this is, especially without a pass. Just.
And oh hey, Gambit made it through Mylon.
Oh, thank goodness gracious! All right, so GG's for Gambit. They're through. So
that's a few more levels on everyone. I think that's up to around level 40 across the board.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, low 40s, 41, 42.
You know, Hallam learns Nuke at 50.
52.
Yeah, 52, excuse me.
Just 10 more levels, which is roughly 500,000 experience.
Saving. He's not saving. Gambit, you beautiful, beautiful runner.
It's just karate. This is free.
Well, don't punch Cecil. Don't punch Cecil. Don't punch. Oh no!
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
Well, that ends that. Please do not go back in. Okay, Gambit, leave. Leave right now, please.
Oh.
Wow.
That breaks my heart for them.
Yeah, that was rough. But I mean, I think they saved after the Mac Giants at least, so they didn't lose all that experience. But oof, that's a long time commitment for nothing. And I think at this point they pretty much have to go to the moon.
Yeah, I would agree. They still have the levels from the Mac Giant grind, but you have to do. You can't follow Dipwood's footsteps here. Should you find the Dimps in a particularly, if you find them at Ribbon Room or a spot that has a lot of XP, well, we'll just be going down the hook route.
Yeah, I guess they've decided enough's enough. I'm going to go down the hook route, but they are unfortunately also still down that crystal sword as well from Evelyn Castle.
Yeah, this is rough, but we'll see what happens. Things are certainly never guaranteed, but Dipwood certainly has established a bit of a lead here. So Octomam is gonna drown. Because this game makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. I mean, to be fair, this is an Octomam swimming through metal.
That's yeah. And well, to be fair to the game, that's not the game's fault. I can't unsee that. Now, thanks to you, every time I see this sprite, I'm gonna be like, all right, so what's Octo emerging through today?
I mean, I've been seeing this it as this for years.
Well, I'm now. Ooh, nice news.
Welcome to my world.
Oh goodness. Well, that has been shattered for me and for so many others that are watching here tonight. All right. So after this, you have to imagine Dipwood will be going back into the Fey March to go ahead and take on minimum that Leviathan. We know that that's Mylon Z. We know that that's free with the Crystal Sword and all the Bacchus wine that he's bought.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the one advantage for Gambit in this situation is Gambit will probably take on that Fey March on the first dip.
Yes. The HP totals for them are high enough that they can go ahead and shake off at least one of the Ice 2s, and maybe they can use the Star Veil. Nice strats from Gambit. The Mad Ogres are susceptible to size. Not only will the attacks be nullified for the most part, but they're also a lot more susceptible to melee damage. So these Mad Ogres are not long, and maybe they get lucky, and they can certainly find a Holy Sword in this chest.
Yeah, there's always that chance that there's a Holy Sword in this chest. We'll see. It looks like Dipwood got the Rat Tail, I want to say, out of the top of tower.
So that could lead to Earth Crystal or maybe Baron. A couple more.
Something.
Do some boss checks that maybe are a little less gross. Well, we're setting Sheila 1.
May as well set up Sheila 1 before we head back up to the overworld.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised on the fade fade of the Fey March. I mean, those Ice 2s do hit, but it's certainly understandable to want to have some more levels. We'll see how that plays out for our runners. So we talked to a comatose Yang, which makes sense that nothing would happen.
Yeah, Yang's asleep.
Oh, where's Dip going? We're setting up for some Twin Harbor, I think.
I think so.
Your favorite. All right, so we'll get some music.
This makes me happy.
Okay,
this
so
makes me so happy.
Well, I'm glad. When you're happy, I'm happy. So this is pretty good routing. You can go into Sheila 1. I wonder if we will also get a package check while we are up in the area. No pass.
I expect a Rat Tail turn-in. I expect a Sheila 1 check. Maybe even a Harp check. I don't expect a package check. It would be very spicy.
I would agree.
I would appreciate it. But I don't expect it to happen.
Yeah, I would normally agree with you. Here are the two things that give me pause with this. Number one, both of our runners cannot be feeling great about that ordeals. We know that they both have the same problems, but you go through that during a race at this point in the tournament. Ooh, nice Baron Key.
Well, now we have the Baron Key.
Now we have Baron Key, so now it's very unlikely.
Now we go there.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to say was that without the pass, if there is a boss down here, you don't want to walk into LSD twice. But that dramatically changes the math. Plus, Dipwood's about to go ahead and get his Luca Key here.
No, Luca Key was in Antlion.
Oh, apologies.
This was the Sad Ruby.
This was the Sad Ruby, that's right. Do Sheila 1 first. So this will be new information for all of us.
Yeah, Dipwood already did this, so we're just here for Sheila 1 and then leaving. And that's nice. We will take the offense sword.
Absolutely. Crystal Venger is a really nice piece of equipment there.
Or you could throw it on Kane, but
yeah, I would argue that's probably
Kane's. Bacchus lines.
True, and we have a defense sword on Dipwood's side for Kane, correct?
Yes, but Avenger's still better at these levels.
I agree. Alright, so Gambit got through Kenatsu no problem. Hopping into the Elements fight. Equipped with the lightsaber versus the crystal sword, so this will take a little more time. But given the firepower that they got from the grind, think we'll have any real problems here.
No, Gambit should be through this fight with no real issues.
Yep. All right, so as the curator of so many of our tunes, do you have any predictions on what jam we're about to be hearing?
Oh, I don't like to predict the harp music because every time I do try to predict the harp music, it's something completely different.
I see. It's always a very enjoyable part of this. I was at I had a teacher in service actually during Gambit's match versus Noob Tree, and we were doing very important paperwork that definitely enhances our lives, the education of our children. And the harp check came on, and my coworkers who were doing that very important paperwork were like, "Oh, what's that? Like, what's that song?" I'm like, "I remember that from this game," and I got to explain just what a wonderful addition we have here. So.
Oh, that's so nice. We have we decided to randomize the harp song here for anyone who might be new. So we won't be listening to Edward play his normal tunes. Edward will be playing one of about 400 random tunes from all sorts of various sources, mostly video games.
Yep, so we get to see Eddie's crowning achievement, walking from one side of the room to the other in the most dramatic fashion possible. So we'll go ahead and be quiet over here on our side, and we hope that you all enjoy the music. Well, that was beautiful. I mean, a non-required boss, but the music was beautiful.
Yeah, it was nice. And there's half of our Abel's Lance.
You're not going to predict the music, but you're going to predict the Abel Slants?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Because we need to have some way to demachine in this scene.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what the Caesar calls for. All right. Well, with that adamant rock, we have at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 key items. Dipwood heading toward 10. We never found. Did we find sirens for sale?
I don't believe so.
I don't believe so either. So maybe some trap chests or maybe some back giants for dip later. Who knows?
That there was nothing available in terms of tier 5s in Chomrat. And then we had... I don't remember what was in the Fey March, but Dwarf was Bacchus.
Yeah. Dipwood pulling the Rex banner. Gonna check Zot 1. Doesn't have the Earth Crystal, so won't have access to Zot 2.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate this while you're in the area. It's not like there's that much left before we go to the moon, and we're hoping to just find everything else on the moon.
Correct.
This could just get us that little bit closer to the number of bosses we need.
Absolutely. The only bosses we don't have access to on Dip's side is Zot 2, and then Luca and Tower Key. So that's only 3. That's not that many. I wonder without the pass, looking ahead, if he will end up going giant first. Of course, it's possible we could get the pass from the Baron checks, which I would be surprised if he didn't do next.
Absolutely. I fully expect to at least to dip into Baron Castle to clear the main check and peek the basement.
That's what I would expect as well. He still hasn't done that Fey March, so
And that's just a sparkle, so nothing we need up at the first spot in Zot. And oh, hi, Ogopogo. Good to know that you're not on the moon.
And goodbye, Ogopogo. Absolutely right. That spot, that boss in the wrong spot, can be absolutely gross. So we're off to not the package, but we are off to Baron. After all of these checks, I would have to imagine going back down to the Fame March to take care of that Leviathan, and off to the moon.
Yeah. Getting an Earth Crystal from Baron might be awkward, as pointed out in chat for dipwood at this point, but it's fine. We'll deal with it.
Yeah. Spark Robes are nice. That's a pretty solid shot. Room Rings too, I think. Oh no.
Yeah. Gambit did get through the top of towers, so they are, making progress in their underground. They did get through that Octomam and are on their way back down now.
Yep.
I think with the rat tail in hand.
Yep, rushing that was, you see a required boss,
Yeah, you do the required boss, and there's a very real chance that the tower key is somewhere behind this Baron key.
Which is a very, very long way away, so. Yeah, we're just kind of working our way through here. Our opening boss was something. Calcabrana? Calcabrana.
Yes, Calcabrana. That sounds right, yes.
Okay, so that will certainly cause no issues for either one of these runs when we get there.
They will be. I have a feeling those dolls are not going to last long at all.
No. We have not seen Wyvern or Golbez yet, and when either one of those bosses are on the Baron throne, that can be a little sketchy. Dipwood's dropping down his battle speed now. I wonder if that isn't in anticipation of going to the throne afterwards.
I would expect probably that's the reasoning for it.
Or maybe just trying to go ahead and get this Leviathan cast off. As you talked about, it takes longer than Quake, so you're trying to chop it down.
But unfortunately, not having a fast anchor instead of a slow anchor makes that not really work quite the way that I think he wanted it to.
Yeah, but regardless,
since, everyone else got their turns first.
Yeah, it's just kind of the way that it goes. But Leviathan's off. These dolls are not waterproof and are ruined forever. 1 check down and 2 to go over here in Baron Castle.
I'd like to point out that Leviathan did almost the entire HP of the spot to every single doll.
Yeah, that's an angry dragon. Staying fast anchored, but dropping down the battle speed. This should be fine. Cecil is faster than the spot. Was it like 15 agility here?
It's like 16, I think, here, but we should be fine. It's also evil wall.
Yes.
Anyway, we came up to the throne. As it turns out, the king was actually part of the castle the whole time.
I mean, that has to be shocking, right? My liege, oh my god, you're part of the Foundation, and you're evil. Like, that's a lot to process.
Yes. And now the throne room is collapsing in on us, and we have to fight it. This definitely explains the whole walls crushing inwards thing later.
Let me tell you something. If I'm Gambit, right, you just had all those adventures up on the Giant, and you're looking to go ahead and make some kind of fade to do something different, if this Baron key ends up being completely empty, including down to the throne, this is a reasonable fade when you know that Calcabrana was the first boss and it's not required. This could be an opening for them to get a little closer in.
Definitely just opting, okay, clearing out like a lot of these underground checks, taking some of the Fame March stuff, and then deciding, you know what, I've got everything I need, I'm gonna just go to the moon.
It's fair and it's valid. You have to, when you have those kinds of adventures and those kinds of setbacks that we've all had when we've run, at that point you then have to do something different.
Yeah, because the last thing you want to do is just be following your opponent. Although Dipwood did get a pan out of Baron Castle, so that's something.
Yeah, we might see that checked maybe, because it's 9 key items. That could maybe lead to 10.
Yeah, I think we'll do basement first, just because we are right here.
Yep.
If I get a pass from Fame March, 100% I'm going to the moon in Gambit's position.
Yes. Yes.
I've got enough power to get through the moon. Maybe not the super quickly, but I can get through it. I mean, I'd probably finish the rest of my underground. Like, I'd turn in... Well, I don't know if I'd turn in Sheila 1 even. I'll probably turn in the Rat Tail, but I'd be feeling iffy on Sheila. And oh, hey, there's Odin.
A vanilla required punchy Odin, but we have lit arrows, and we have Bacchus wine, and we have Crystal Sword Cecil, and I think we're okay.
Yep. Well,
Rose is less okay.
Rosa is not okay.
Yeah, and even if this ends up being a wipe here, which I don't believe that it will, it's not that long of a walk back.
Probably not.
No time with Rydia.
Good night, Rydia. Goodbye.
Cecil is angry, though.
Yeah, Cecil is quite angry.
Yeah.
I don't think Odin has enough hit points to outlast Cecil.
No, I think this Odin is going down quite quickly. Is it possible that Dipwood did not recognize that it was Leviathan and that Leviathan was required? Is that a possibility?
I think it's unlikely. So I expect Dipwood to probably go back there somewhat soon. There's a pink tail. That would be nice if we didn't already have all the gear that we cared about. Although I suppose it could be Bahamut.
It could be, or it could also be a white shirt, because it's always a white shirt unless it's not a white shirt, and that would be nice. Although he just bought the Sork robes, so you know.
I don't think I'd be rushing to turn that in.
No, I would be excited about the 10k items though. Let's see what Gambit's rushing in.
Gambit is like, required boss? Yes, please.
Yep, you know.
I am fighting this required boss.
Which makes sense.
Gambit might also decide to take the Mylon, knowing that it's Mylon Z.
Gambit does have that knowledge because they found Mylon friends over on the Giant. That is very, very true. So, these ice 2s are gonna tickle. They're
gonna hurt a little bit, not terribly bad, but they will do some damage.
Probably 800-900 a pop, if I recall correctly.
And Dipwood is ignoring the Fey March and headed for the moon.
This is interesting.
That is very interesting.
I wonder if there was a
might be going to the Giant now that we have 10 key items from that pigtail.
Oh, that's extremely heads up. Especially since we did not find Sirens anywhere.
Yeah.
So,
this might also be doing some Mac Giants, might just clear the Giant. We'll see.
If I had to guess, it's probably the Giant. And given the fact that Dipwood is anchored, that karate fight should be less of an issue than it was for Gambit.
Well, it's still punchy.
It is. It's true.
If he punches Cecil once, Cecil goes by.
Yeah. But given all of the all of the divergence that we had for the first 30-45 minutes of the seed, when Gambit's done, we're tied up at 4 bosses a pop.
That is Gambit.
They are through.
The Leviathan. I mean, Dipwood should theoretically know where that Leviathan is, and Gambit would still have to turn that Rat Tail in to get the Baron key, and then go through all of Baron to get to the basement there. But
that's a nice.
This is why you do your Leviathan before you go to the moon.
Yeah. And Gambit.
That might pull Gambit up to the moon after this Fey March dive.
Yes. You can fade one boss. So should they never get the Baron key, it's not unreasonable to. Three bosses on the moon is a bit of an ask.
It is a bit of an ask. We don't have access to. We know that the only 2 bosses that are left. Well, the only 3 bosses that we haven't seen that aren't on the moon at this point are the Super Cannon Room, the Package Boss, and Zot 2. But Gambit doesn't know that.
But what we now know is that what looks like it was going to be something that was going to be pretty significantly one-sided doesn't. I still put Dip in the lead, but I certainly don't think that this is as.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten a bit more even with Dipwood continuing to fade the Leviathan there. And oh hey, there's a spoon just for extra key items for Gambit. That's up to 8 key items for Gambit. I don't think that's quite enough that I'd want. It might push them to look for 10 with the Rat Tail and the Sheila check, but I'm not sure I'd necessarily be super inclined to really push for 10.
Yeah, especially since you just spent so much time doing your Mac Giants and everything else. you know, I
So,
don't know
I
if you're
mean,
really thinking about
we do
grinding
need.
anymore.
I mean, we do need a few more levels for Talon, especially.
We do. Buying 20 Bacchus wine.
And,
So
yep, make sure we have all the Bacchus wine we need before we leave.
Dipwood showing off that if you aim at a dead character, even if they've already died, that accuracy is so good. We're just going to go ahead and smack them an extra time, just for funsies.
Ooh, Gambit also checking another boss that we haven't laid eyes on in the Sealed Cave. I really like this play for Gambit.
I like this as well, especially when you consider that all 3 of these remaining bosses are free. Now, Golbez is annoying,
yes.
but the magic is so high that Golbez will kill himself. Water Hag is free, and both of our runners have coffins. Dips are free, so there's not even a concern that
Odin
they
would
won't
be
be able to
scary
take this.
here for Gambit, since they don't know where Odin is. That would be scary, but we know that that's not an option here. So they have the choice of either something that they need that's completely free, or if it's kind of rude, they can just leave. I'm not worried about it.
Correct. So I'm a big fan of this check. It's probably a little more tempting to fade it when you have the pass, like Gambit does. But I can appreciate wanting to go ahead and be thorough before doing your final, what you hope is going to be the final descent down the LST.
Yes. Well, I mean, in Gambit's case, they're not as worried about it. With that pass, they can go down the LST, face check, but then you get into the situation of, okay, now do I actually want to fight any of these bosses for key items if I'm still missing a Baron key, and an Earth Crystal, and a Tower key?
Right. It's harder to face check when you need 3 bosses versus 2, and like
Absolutely.
you just said with the key items that you're still missing.
Yeah.
So let's see who we got. Gambit did save, so if this goes south for whatever reason, they'll be able to get back in.
That is value in the Sealed Cave. That's a Water Hag down here.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
What a race.
The tables are turning rapidly.
Dude, do you just go to the moon? You have the pass. You're going to the moon, right? You're going to the moon. You're going to the moon.
I'd be tempted to check that rat tail. I mean, I could see a world where Gambit goes down the Baron key chain, but that's not a bad thing. That's absolutely not a bad thing for Gambit at this point.
No, it's definitely not, because that would put
There's
Gambit
not really a bad play at this point with Gambit already knowing that the giant is dead.
Wow. Meanwhile, Dipwood's going to be done with his grinds. He's going to have information about the giant, about that the giant is dead.
There's definitely still a chance Dipwood hits the last bosses first and remembers Leviathan exists and goes back.
Yep, and if Dip goes back down to the Fey March, I think it's reasonable to think that, especially without the pass, that he will also do Luca. Although he's going to get the pass, well, he'll also have that Mylon knowledge also. So, if and when Dip goes back down to the Fey March, it's possible that he will take both bosses.
Yeah, it is definitely possible that he will check all these bosses, but Gambit at this point basically just has Sheila 1, the Rat Tail Turn-In, and the Moon. And I guess there's that one in package for boss checks, but I'm not sure we'll see those. We might see... Oh, and Twin Harp. Gambit has not done music. That's probably the worst play.
And if you're looking to do something different, Twin Harp is usually at the top of that list. So yeah. I wouldn't be shocked to see Gambit go ahead.
No, it would be very reasonable in this position, but unfortunately we know that Dipwood's already been there.
I cannot wait to see where Dipwood goes, if he goes to the moon or if he goes back underground. This is going to be enormous one way or the other, because we know that there are 2 more bosses for him underground.
We know that Dipwood has to go back underground at some point.
Yeah, Gambit,
it looks like, is going to the moon.
Let's go. And we know this is the right decision.
Yeah, there could very well be 2 bosses up here. We could have our Golbez and Dark Imps up here. There are 6 locations on the moon. Dipwood as well is going... Oh, no, Dipwood is not going to the moon.
You have to land before you can go. And Dipwood's going back underground.
Okay, that is...
Okay, that's very good news for Dipwood.
That is good news for Dipwood, yes. Dipwood skipping out would be potentially really bad.
So Dipwood more than likely heading directly over to the Fey
Yeah,
March.
I would expect Fey March first. We'll see about maybe a considering Sealed Cave,
there it is.
choosing Fey March instead.
So definitely showing us that that he's aware of sealed. That tells me that he knows that he has the Lucky key, which might seem like common sense, but I didn't see what the boss was. I apologize at K-Bomb, but clearly
It was
wasn't required.
Zisora, so Gambit looks like is entering face check mode, doesn't care, which is good for them. If they can find their 2 bosses on the moon before Dipwood gets through Leviathan and Water Hag and then gets up here, Gambit might be in a really good position despite skipping that Baron key with the Odin in the Baron basement.
Yeah, this is close. It's really going to depend on if we find 2 bosses in 5 spots, and we've seen it. We've absolutely seen it.
It could absolutely happen.
Yeah. Gambit being smart to go ahead and take off the Artie Bow before curing up. Looks like Murder Rosa is over, and White Mage Rosa has taken her place.
Yeah.
Oh, just for a little while. Oh, there's lit arrows. That makes a lot of sense. So that Leviathan is going to have a bad day over on Dipwood's side.
Dipwood is about to completely wreck Leviathan, but Gambit is looking at. Well, with our information in the booth, we have these 5 spots in the moon. We have the package, Zatu, and the super cannon. And that is it.
I don't know that Dipwood has a lot of motivation to take that Mylon Z fight, even though it's so free.
Oh yeah, no, Dipwood. I mean, there's an Earth Crystal and a Tower Key, but really those only gate 1 check each, and it's not really incentivized. I think Dipwood probably skips it.
Yep. Gambit.
We had Wyvern at the Mirror Altar, so Gambit says no, thank you.
So
they are going to look for nicer bosses that are maybe more required.
Yeah. That spot too can be pretty brutal. You have to basically drop down to battle speed 6, or known as Wyvern standard time, there to go ahead and get through that, especially without a Artie Arrows or Drew Lance or something that can really take that out. So,
ironically, not finding bosses at the top of the moon might actually be helpful for Gambit, because it guarantees that even if Dipwood does go and get that sealed cave Water Hag, Dipwood will also have to walk down the lunar subterrane.
100%.
As long as there are 2 bosses here, it is still good.
Mm-hmm.
Gambit's probably ideal situation is that they find a boss in the White Spear altar, and then they find like Golbez at the White Spear altar, and then Dark Imps in the Ribbon Room or something.
And given how they've run the seed, seeing a swag walk would not be out of the question.
Yeah, and I mean they don't have quite the same level of power that Dipwood has. They have enough power to get through a Zeromus fight.
They do. I mean, the Mac Giant grind took an awful lot of time,
but it did give them a nice
it did some work. You know, they got
and
some levels.
if we have our dream situation of Golbez at White Spear and Dark Imps at Ribbon Room, there's a whole bunch of extra experience.
Yeah, Ribbon Room especially. I know that Gambit doesn't have 10 key items, but still, that's a healthy infusion of XP at that spot.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get Palom to nuke on Gambit's side, but I don't really think we need it.
I agree. So, Gambit is going to find Baron Guards.
The wrong free boss, but we have enough coffins for them, so yeah, I don't hate Gambit taking this, especially with the Baron key still on the table for them, and it's a little bit of extra experience.
Yeah, it's not a ton for a moon check. It's not a tremendous amount of XP here. But it's quick and it's free, and
it's quick and it's free, and it's 50,000 experience roughly with the life glitch on the 1 guard.
Yep. And Anchor is sustained, which means that moving forward, every reset they don't have to worry about taking that down. This is perfectly reasonable, acceptable check.
Yep, we'll take the level or 2 across the board.
Yeah. Could be a Holy Sword too.
Just a Moon Veil. Oh well.
Which would make the Dimps free. If Dimps at Crystal Sword could be pretty punchy, Dimps at Murray could be pretty punchy. So if I know we have the coffins, but if it ends up being terribly problematic, there's a little bit of insurance. Definitely not the value.
Right over to the Ribbon Room now.
Yeah, not even saying.
See what's in here. And that is our
Oh.
dimps. Oh my goodness, it's the dimps.
Well, one boss to go and 2 spots left for Gambit.
And a bit of extra experience. We're going to get 100, hopefully 166,000 experience from this check. Instead of the normal 100,000, which is very nice.
Looks like unless Rosa takes a massive critical hit here, I cannot imagine that we won't be getting that as well. Kane tanks it, and
Yep,
Gambit's
this
through.
fight done. As Dipwood finds his 6th boss in the sealed cave.
Correct.
So now Dipwood just needs to get down to the Ribbon for Go mode.
Right.
Which is a little bit potentially scary for Gambit. So Gambit needs to find Golbez before Dipwood gets to the Ribbon.
Yes.
And there's the other half of that Abel's Lance.
Yeah, I'm sure that when Dipwood gets there, he's going to go ahead and
yeah, absolutely. I think that'll be Dipwood's #1 priority after getting through those Dark Imps and getting the Crystal will be to go forge that Abel's Lance.
1,000,000%. I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Yeah,
so,
no, definitely no other plans.
So, looking ahead to the Z fights, let's say, I mean, for Gambit to be alive, Gambit needs to find either Golbez or preferably Water Hag in one of these spots.
Well, no, just Golbez. Gambit has skipped Odin.
Oh, true. Apologies. So, Dipwood's Z fight is also going to be significantly faster than Gambit's.
Yeah. Oh, no, do not take that CPU. Get out of there.
Come on, third grind.
Do something else.
Third grind. No?
Yeah, I don't think Gambit is quite far enough ahead on the Moon that if they go back and do Baron... I mean, maybe if they go back and do Baron right away, they turn in the Rat Tail instead of checking anything from the Moon. Because they haven't gotten anything in terms of progression on the Moon. And Wyvern and CPU are both pretty rude. I could see a world where they fade that, but they have in favor of turning in a Rat Tail, potentially.
And you can save scum. You can leave a couple save spots,
Yeah.
Here
Leave
and
a save up
bottom.
here, check the Rat Tail real quick, and then chase that Baron key. That might be a way back in, or... Well, I mean, we're going to take Keblin and Queblin.
That's good experience, and of course it's free.
Yeah.
That is excellent news for Dipwood. Gambit has some decisions to make.
A decision to make where they want to go to look for either Golbez or if they can find their way into Baron. But Dipwood is going to the package.
Oh, baby. Which could be, not for nothing.
It could be our Golbez.
Could be our Golbez. We have, what have we not seen?
Or this would just be giving some extra time back to Gambit that they need.
Yeah, Zeno, is this a 50-50 chance of this being Golbez?
No. 1 in 3.
What am I missing? Zot2, Tower Key,
and Super Cannon, and this.
And this,
yeah.
Right.
Those are the only 3 bosses we have left.
My goodness.
I mean, this package check is really spicy, and I love it, but like.
It also wouldn't be unreasonable for Gambit to do the same thing, right now.
That is definitely a valid consideration. Oh my goodness, there's a tower key. Gambit, chase it.
Well, they were chasing that, there's no question.
Yes.
You
have to chase that. Chase it. That is now another 1 in 3.
All right.
Oh my goodness. Golbez is either at the package, at this super cannon that Gambit has found, or at Zot2.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, this is exciting.
So Gambit is going to get to the super cannon just a little bit later. Then Dipwood's going to go ahead and find out who his boss is. Or maybe the whole thing's behind Zot2. Oh my goodness, this is
oh gosh.
This is tense.
One of these two could pay off, or it's Golbez at Zot2, in which case,
Oh my goodness gracious. Gambit is following it. They're going underground. They're going to the super cannon room. Okay, so pig meta. Watch the pig in bed. The ears turn not right away, but if they turn yellow when we hear the door, we know that we have a very realistic chance of it being Golbez.
Very good chance of Golbez if they turn yellow.
Also, did we see how Dipwood is anchored? Because slow anchor is actually better here to get through the script faster.
Still slow anchored, so I think we're good.
Oh, it's a sparkle.
That's a sparkle.
Oh.
Gambit's chances just went up.
So we're now
a 50-50.
50-50 chance, right?
50-50 chance that
Oh my
Gambit's tower
goodness.
key play will give them go mode.
And we're gonna find out in about 10
And
seconds.
Dipwood now has to make the play to the moon and find other. And there's Golbez.
They
That is
found
go
it.
mode for Gambit.
Oh my gosh. Oh
my goodness, this has been a race, y'all.
Okay, all right. So let's look ahead to the Z fight. Palom is not going to get to Quake. We know that, or not going to get to Nuke.
Palom is not going to get to Nuke. But I think Zerking, Cecil, and Kane, Rosa should be fine. She has enough magic defense that she should be okay with 2,200 hit points. I don't think Gambit needs to grind at all. I think they can just go.
I can't imagine after the fun at Ordeals, and not to mention the adventures in Mag Giant grinding, that they would feel comfortable grinding after this. Plus, I don't even think we have Sirens.
Yeah, I think Gambit is just gonna have to go.
Wow. And you can't blame Dipwood for his routing at all. It's the one loss, of course.
Dipwood's routing has made complete sense. They've been, he's been very thorough, making sure that Gambit didn't get lucky on like a gamble at package or Zot 1 or something. But Gambit skipped all of that and just got a tower key out of a deep place in the moon and found Golbez, and skipped out on that Harp and Baron key.
So, all right. So Gambit will get into the Z fight probably about 90 seconds faster ish.
It depends what Diprod's moon route is, because Dipwood could very well go top down here.
I mean, if Dip does Crystal Sword Alter 2, that definitely adds up some time.
Yeah. I mean, Dipwood is likely going to peek Mura first, might even go for White Spear Altar before... although it's less likely that Dipwood would sit through any checks, even the White Spear Altar being free, because he's only missing
there's no way. There's no way.
Missing only 2 key items, and 1 boss remaining, no way. We're not going to do anything.
Man, what a race. So, Gambit never found the Crystal Sword. The Z fight is going to take...
has never found... Dipwood had that Crystal Sword over an hour ago.
Yeah. Just the wildly different routing.
Gambit is still looking at arriving in the Z fight first.
To answer your question, I can't imagine that we would forge at this point.
No.
One of our runners.
No, we absolutely do not forge at this point. No. Gambit's not going to get the Adamant. They're not going to find it here. Dipwood's already found it.
Well, no. The Ribbon Room had the Dimps.
And the Ribbon Room had the Legend Sword.
Yeah, so. But I cannot... I think you see a swag walk from Dip.
Yeah.
Let's see what item we get here from Gambit.
That's the Earth Crystal, which we don't care about.
Well, now hold on. You don't have a Holy Sword. The pass is right there. It's right there.
I mean, as much as I would like to engage in memes, I think it's late for the Treasury. I think it's too late for the Treasury. Gambit can just go right into the Zeromus fight right now.
There's a solid chance to get the time back, but you're probably right.
And yeah, no, that's exactly what they're doing. They're going. I mean, you only get the time back if you hit a Holy Sword or an Avenger.
Yeah.
They've got a Lightsaber. They've got. I think they've got a Defense Sword as well. They've got the weapons that they need for their Zerkers.
Yeah. They are getting into the Z fight so fast. We got these Z flags in chat. So you know what's going on with this?
I think it's something to do with the fact that we don't randomize Zeromus' location, because Zeromus is big and bad and scary, and we don't like to randomize that. It would be a real problem. So we instead, we can't just leave him non-randomized. We like to make Zeromus dress up as all these things. So I believe there's a question that chat is trying to get us to ask.
That would be, whose butt are we gonna kick tonight? Gambit, excellent runner, deep knowledge of the game, but this Z fight is not guaranteed. I mean, the HP totals on Rosa are great, but this is, and they're anchored, which is wonderful. A little interesting that they have Palom top slot. I might have wanted to maybe get my Zerkers going a little faster, but regardless, I don't think that they'll have any serious issues here, but this is not a slam dunk of a Z fight for anybody.
Absolutely. This is, I mean, a high roll could still take out Rosa, and then this becomes very scary.
Yep, and as we see Dip get into the bottom, Mega Man. As we see Dip get into the bottom of the LST, one wipe certainly puts Dip right back in. So we have a manual cast of Berserk. We have a Bacchus Wine, so we have two Zerked melee characters, and we have a Silk Whip going out. So this first Big Bang will be nerfed.
Yep. This Dragonist, I don't think stands much of a chance. Cecil's fine.
Tanked it beautifully. It's not a lot of DP. We're looking at, what, 4,000 around? It's not a lot. Maybe we might get some Ice 3s being reflected out to add to it. Maybe a White Cast. Let's see what Gambit decides to do with Palom as we go into the second round here, post this first Big Bang.
Gambit looks like is going to do some reflecting of level 3 elemental spells, which is about all that Palom can do. It's helpful.
Sure. That's an extra, let's say 5, maybe, probably 5k. And every little bit helps. Dipwood on the other end did take that Baron Guard fight, and is going to go ahead and coffin up and life glitch these Dimps. Dipwood's going to get significantly more experience here. This is 200k plus the life glitching here, so we're looking at well over 300,000 for Dip.
Yeah, oh yeah, Dipwood is going to get so much experience. Rydia might learn Nuke.
So there's a shake. And this is not going to be nerfed. So Palom's gone, and we're going to hope that Rosa survives. So I would keep your eyes on Rosa's HP here, and everyone lives.
Yep, everyone we care about lives.
Correct. Yeah, I kind of forgot Palom existed there.
Sorry, Palom. You did not live.
Yeah, we will be seeing a black hole soon, but we have plenty of Bacchus Wine to go ahead and get our characters up. Meanwhile, Dipwood, who has the much faster Z-Fight, is heading down to the very, very bottom of the LST, and we will be seeing dueling Z-Fights before we know it.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think Gambit has the edge here still, just getting into that Z-Fight that much faster and already having done so much damage.
Yep, we saw the refill. I think this is a fake shake. So if it's not a fake shake, it would happen right now. Oh,
yeah,
no, that was a real shake.
But I think we have already passed the refill. I think Gambit's already in the last phase. Just needs to avoid getting a high roll on Rosa, and that's not a high roll.
Yep. Comment in chat, Kane's probably used a third wheeling. Probably. That's great.
Yeah, it's power couple and third wheel, except Kane is actually doing comparable damage to Cecil.
Yeah, that's the defense sword is widely considered to be Kane's best weapon outside of the magic composition we had.
He's holding his own here in this fight. Like, Kane is contributing meaningfully to this Zemus fight.
It is. We've been very steady, and we've been very stable and very secure. Gambit utilizing good knowledge about what HP totals for Rosa are generally safe. That's a little spooky. Yeah,
that's the direct nuke. Rosa's fine.
Shakes it off like the champ that she is, because if she had gone down with both Cecil and Kane Zerk, that could have been a little scary.
Yeah, it could have been scary if she'd gone down, but as long as she survived, she can just pop herself right back up to full, and we'll be fine.
Yep. That might have been the Rock's tip right there. Let's find out.
Yeah, that is rocks for Gambit, as Dipwood is getting the transformation. I think
this is over.
Yeah, as much as I hate to call it before it's actually over, I think this is over.
Yeah, our Zerkers are going to get 3 swings each. There's at most 12,000 left. The good news for the community is we're going to have a game 3.
Yeah,
Get your GGs in
GG
chat.
to Gambit.
What an absolute pleasure.
Finishing with an official time of 1 hour, 41 minutes, and 28 seconds.
That is one of the wildest races, seeds I have seen in a very long time. That was absolutely, that was
We will
tremendous.
see if we can get Gambit in here for an interview.
Oh.
And it looks like we are now joined by Gambit. GG's.
Thank you. This was a much better race than yesterday was.
It was a seed for sure.
So I think the first question on everyone's mind is the decision to do Mac Giants came from where?
I've been thinking about it. I was actually looking for Zeus Zone. It's one of the reasons why I rated the free treasury in Zot. Hold on a second. Sorry. Yeah, one of the reasons I rated the free treasury in Zot was I was looking for a Zeus Zone. Because I was like, if I can get a Zeus Zone, then I am Mac Gianting 100%. I got done to the point where I was like, you know what? I feel behind because of that Val on ordeals. I felt like I was playing sluggish already. The character choices, while I was like, you know what? I want to get rid of the Porum, pick up an anchor in Rydia, and then you know what? I'm gonna go do Mag Giants, and I'm gonna go gamble the Giant and see what happens. And if it pays off, it pays off. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And you know, go from there. So I did the Mag Giants, got us like a little miniature grind, even though that was a thing. Got through the Mylon fine, and then Karate, I was like, oh, it's Karate. I've got Cecil. This is fine until Karate decided to kill my Cecil.
Yes, Karate is punchy.
Yeah, Karate said, no.
It was not fine. But yeah, I mean, it was a really interesting watch. You were actually ahead through Mount Ordeals. And through a lot of the overworld, you had a little bit of an edge. What I want to bring up is actually the decision to not loot Ebwin Castle with a Cecil in the party.
After what happened yesterday, I was not touching Ebwin Castle with a 10-foot pole.
I mean, that's fair, but there was a crystal sword in there.
I had a light sword, and I know light sword it's like fourth down the list of Cecil weapons, but I was fine with it. And then picking up the defense sword for Kane later on down the road, I was like, it's not the most ideal situation, but I was going to make the most of it. And in the end, it got me through that Z fight, which is all it needed me to do.
It definitely did. Yeah, this was an interesting one to watch because that Mac Giant and Giant play put you a bit behind for a decent portion of the seed, but you ended up just making kind of the right fades and lucking into that Golbez at the Super Cannon Room.
Yeah, I think that's the key is anything other than King Queen there, that Crystal Sword altar, and I was resetting.
Oh,
and
very, very much understood. Like, you were not taking that if it was not free.
Yeah, and I was like, you know, it's a little bit
like, maybe if they go to the Rat Tail and get the Baron Key from the Rat Tail turn-in and then chase that, they might be able to like keep pace with Dipwood, who at that point was starting his moon dive with 6 bosses killed.
Yeah, I was like, let me take this fight. It's free experience. I was hoping, you know, if I get Palom up to nuke, yay. If not, then yeah, it is what it is. And so took the fight for the experience, got a tower key, and said, you know what, I'm going to chase that first. And my thought process was, okay, I've got Rat Tail, I've got tower key, I've got package. I was like, I'm going to chase tower key. If it's not here, I'm like, either way, I'd walk it out because there was still Baron Key and Earth Crystal left at the dish on me. So I was like, either way, no matter what this is, I'm walking it out. Then I'm going to go do package. If package is a bust, I go to turn in that Rat Tail and see what I get from there and go from that point. And as it turned out, Golbez was that tower key, and I saw that and was going, oh gosh, I'm probably well behind. I need you to hurry. Please hurry up and keep me Shadow.
Yeah, no, I think what saved you is Dipwood was extraordinarily thorough this seed. I think playing defensively and just trying to anticipate Gambles because he also had some struggles with that back attack Val.
Yeah, we were talking briefly after he put in his FF, which, to be honest, I don't blame him.
Yeah, now it feels good to check just about every spot in the seed, including the Twin Harp, the package, Zot 1, clearing all of Baron, pretty much full clearing the blue planet before going to that moon.
Yeah, my initial hope was with that giant play was going to be complete giant, take that experience, run the full moon, and be back on the Earth at like the hour 10 mark with the full moon cleared, and just start checking everything on the overworld. And then Yang said no.
Yeah.
But you know, it was a thing for sure. But we've got.
I mean, on the bright side, you didn't have to deal with CPU at Masa Altar or Wyvern at Mura Altar.
Come on, let them have their fourth grind. Come on.
No, I was good. I was like, you know what? I again, today felt a lot like yesterday, and I faded just the right checks. It was a situation where none of the checks that I decided to fade ended up haunting me in the end. Everything was the right choice. I still felt a little sluggish again with the grind and with that vow, but did just enough to get me the win and to force to game 3 tomorrow. So yeah, as Dipwood and I were talking, we both got our bad runs out of the way. Me in game 1, him in game 2, and we're both looking forward to a nice like sub hour and a half game 3 tomorrow.
What time can we expect you to tomorrow?
Same time as today, 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, channel to be determined. I'm sure that information will go out a little later tonight. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This has been a good series. It feels good to finally get a win in a best of 3, because this is the first time in a best of 3 situation I've ever actually gotten a win. Every other best of 3 I've played in Free Enterprise, I've always gone 0-2. So getting that off my back helps.
Well, I think you've both demonstrated that tomorrow night is going to be epic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hate to just run on you guys, but I do have some IRL stuff going on. So I want to say thanks, Spady, for being a wonderful restreamer, as mentioned in all my names, because Spady is the best. Zemocat, you and John Burkhead for doing the comms, Worlding for doing the tracking. I will see everybody tomorrow. Have a great rest of the night, everybody.
GG's, wonderful job.
GG's, take care. Have a good night. And that will do it for our race tonight. There is another race right back here on this channel at 9 p.m. Eastern, so in just about an hour. That race is, let me pull that up.
Pyre versus
Decker Smash.
That should be phenomenal.
Yeah, I am definitely looking forward to that. But for now, we are going to send y'all on over to Slippery, who is doing something. Doing the seed of the week. That's what he's doing. So spoiler warning for that. Reminder, do not spoil the results of this race. We have newspapers, we will bonk. And enjoy the free enterprise.
So thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you later on at 9 o'clock for game 2 of Pyre Decker. And definitely hope to see you tomorrow night for what should be an epic game 3 between these two.